Hi everyone, we are back with part 2 of our inspirational episode of Vonti Talks with Filmmakers podcast, featuring Dominic Goodie, a seasoned key grip on Marvel projects and other Hollywood productions. He doubles as a multi-talented writer, director, editor, and producer from Atlanta, Georgia. Going back to what you were talking about as far as like mentors and everything, let's also discuss. And by the way, guys, you're listening to Vonti Talks with Filmmakers. For those just joining us, we're here with Dominic Goodie. He is a filmmaker extraordinaire, pretty much done every position and has worked on major Hollywood sets as well. But are there any projects out there now that you would have loved to have worked on?
John Wick series would have been amazing to
Oh
work
my
on.
God.
One,
Yeah.
I think Keanu is one of the greatest, like humblest people. A lot of people that I've known have worked with him have said he is just a really, really great guy. And it's an action movie that's just amazingly over the top. And it's like I would love to have learned firsthand how they did that stuff, because it's like when I'm on set, I'm working, but I'm also I'm peeping how they're doing stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm seeing how they're doing stuff. Okay, and it's like I'm gonna write some. I'm gonna add that to my script, because it's like I can see they can do that. So if I'm afraid, like, oh, can I toss a car into a building? Oh, they just did that. Okay, we can do that then.
Do it.
But yeah, the John Wick series has always been something I was like, oh my god, I would love to work on this film. But being in Atlanta, I think it shoots in New York, so kind of hard to do that. But I mean,
Speaking of,
upcoming film,
speaking of that,
upcoming
not to cut you off. Sorry,
no,
Dominic,
go
not
ahead.
to cut you off, but it always saddens me as well. It's like you have filmmakers across the US and the globe that want to
Mhm.
work on projects. To me, I don't feel like you should have to live in that state. I feel like you should be able to apply, and as long as you get there, you should be able to work. I get
True.
it. They want to do local, but we're living in times now, like, and for instance, this podcast, you're all the way in Atlanta, Georgia. There was times where we would need to meet up somewhere and then record a podcast, right? But
Exactly.
I feel like the world is now more open, but sometimes I just don't feel like filmmaking has gotten there yet. They
I
say
think
move
the
to LA, move
unions.
to these cities. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying I think the unions hold that very strict, I guess, regulation, where it's like you have to
Hmm.
be either a local in that area, or
Hmm.
you have to be a part of the local that shares that area. Because it's like if we were to go to New York, I'm not part of that local. Would I still be able to work? I don't know. But
Hmm.
I'd have to pay dues to their local and my local. That's something I would have to research to know, because I would love to like apply, but then it's like how do I apply? Do I And then it's like housing, things like that, you know. But
Well,
I
if
would say
anybody, yeah, go ahead.
but I want to say before one movie that it's rumored, I don't know if it's gonna happen,
Hmm.
because Richard Donner passed away, but he passed it on to Mel Gibson, is Lethal Weapon 5. Mel
Hmm.
Gibson is supposed to be directing and starring in that, but I don't know, since they're getting up there in age, that would be a dream come true to work on that film, because it's one
Yeah.
of those, it's in the series, that would be a dream.
But you know what's crazy about that? Mel Gibson still has a lot of action projects. It's almost like
Oh
Sylvester
yeah.
Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is still out here slapping people around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is too. I haven't seen him not do an
But
action film.
Danny's not up for it. Danny is more like he's sitting down a lot right now. He's relaxing, he's chilling. I just saw Mel Gibson in the Continental, and
Hmm.
that was great. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a spinoff of the John Wick series, like a prequel, and he was great. But I was
Really?
like, man, yeah, it was basically how Winston took over the Continental in New York. It was like
What?
a three part series on Parent on Peacock, and
What?
it's like hour and 45 minutes each episode. It's like three parts, but it's
What?
really good. It's really good.
I did not hear
But
anything. This is Dominic. I'm working too much. I had no
yeah,
clue that even came out. I wish I had my phone nearby. Make sure
it
you
is.
text me that so I know.
I will.
The Continental guys on Peacock, 3-part series, the prequel to the John Wick series.
John Wick, yeah, it's and if you like John Wick, you will. It holds up. This holds up, but
Wow.
I would love honestly again. Just to work with Mel would be great too because, like I said, I grew up on Lethal Weapon. You're right. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. Like just like Stallone, Arnold has slowed down a bit, but like these guys, they have such a dedication to what they've done that they're just like, I'm 70 something years old, but I'm still going.
Let
I
me
was
tell you
like Clint
something.
Eastwood, still going.
Still going. Listen, the writer or whatever who's working on Lethal Weapon 5, you just got to do what you got to do with Danny. We are not going to be upset. If you decide
True,
to have him
true.
bed bound somewhere and just not doing it or needs what is it, a serum or something, some kind of medicine to
But
bring him back to
something,
life
yeah.
or out of a coma or whatever. You know what I mean? Just do what you got to do. We're
Hey,
fine. If
you're
Mel
right.
is ready, if Mel Gibson is ready, listen, I don't care if you got a fake Danny laying in the bed. You know what
Have a
I'm
stunt
saying?
double, all his stuff.
Yeah, or he's away on vacation with his wife on a cruise ship. Listen,
Yes.
if you gotta
Yeah.
write him out, you gotta write him out. Bring Mel on there,
I
man.
mean, Danny said he's been too old for this shit since the first one. so,
God, God.
so yeah.
Listen, y'all are tuning in to Vonti Talks with Filmmakers. We are here with Dominic Goodie. We are about to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. And now a word from one of our sponsors. After starting my podcast, I needed to hire the pros to market the content. Are you looking for digital success? Look no further. World Boss HQ is your strategic partner. Their experts turn your vision into a digital masterpiece. From stunning websites to powerful marketing, they've got you covered. Startups or established businesses, they are your one-stop solution. Visit worldbosshq.com. That is WORLDBOSSHQ.com and unleash your potential today. World Boss HQ Digital Marketing. Your online empire awaits. We are excited to bring you this world exclusive teaser from Bad Rabbit Pictures and Movie Pods. They are presented Age of Prophecy, a sci-fi fantasy podcast done in the style of the radio dramas of yesteryear. Coming soon to all streaming platforms. Visit www.moviepods.com or www.thenukechronicles.com for all the release dates. You won't want to miss this one. Your myths were born from our history. Let's check it out.
Life. A vile, messy sequence of events before we die. All designed for something beyond us. It has to be. Or else, what's the point? You don't know me, but I know you. I am responsible for your triumphs and miseries. I am Zira and Nilzor, and to truly understand your own story, you must know mine. Your myths were born from my history.
Hi there, and welcome back to Conversations with Filmmakers podcast. Thank you guys. Welcome back to Vonti Talks with Filmmakers. We are here with Dominic Goodie. We are talking about Lethal Weapon 5. As screenwriters, just bring us on. If y'all need us to help write it, me and Dominic will do it together. We are action fanatics. We will figure it out for you on how to go ahead and get Donnie up out of here so Mel Gibson can come back. We need Mel. Mel Gibson, if you are listening to this podcast, we are co-signing that you do Lethal Weapon 5 before it's too late. I hate that. Do not recast. Don't recast when the current people are here. That's almost like they want to do a Risky Business 2, but not have Tom Cruise in it. What?
That's wild. That's wild.
That would be wild. That they even knew that for what was that he just came back for with the jets and all that?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. On. Yeah, I'm sorry. My mind just went blank because I'm still thinking Lethal Weapon. But Tom Cruise came back for Top Gun. Nobody else could have done that. You know, don't play yourself.
It's like the legacy of the franchise. And that's the thing I loved about Richard Donner. 1, 2, 3, and 4, Lethal Weapon kept everybody. I'm talking about the children grew up through that movie. The mom grew up through that movie. Mel got married and had a child through that movie. Like, the cast, if they're still around, you have to bring them back. Like, don't recast somebody. You know, if they're still here, reach out to them, be like, hey, we're doing a 5th one. Would you like to reprise your role? I'm pretty sure people
don't do it cheap. All of them. Yeah, and don't do it cheap. If you know that franchise got $1 billion, go ahead and throw some real money out there on the table. Look at Bad Boy, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Same thing. Listen, y'all keep bringing Bad Boy back, and we do not mind it. Nobody cares. No. We love to see him, and we want the original.
And that's the thing. We've been asking for it, and we finally got 3. 4 was in the middle of shooting, and then strike happened. So we're happy. We're content. We like Martin. We like Will. Was glad to see Martin back on the screen again. It's one of those things. Is like around. He's been gone for so long. I was like, oh my god, it's so nice to see him again.
Yes, it was so nice to see him, and that's similar to Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, man. When are y'all coming back with this? Like, I need for you to.
Rush Hour 5 was slated. Was it 4 or 5? I think it was 4. I can't remember which one. They had started pre-production. I believe so. I don't know if it's 5 or 4 because I can't remember which ones they did. Is it just 1, 2, and 3?
I know they did 1, 2, and 3, so it has to be 4.
It has to be 4. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Rush Hour.
A lot of people that I know were talking about the new Rush Hour film, and I think even Chris has done some interviews where he said they were talking about it. They were like starting the talks of it. So,
and for me, nice. I would watch it. I love some Chris Tucker. He's hilarious. Anytime you can make Michael Jackson crack up, rest in peace. He used to crack MJ up, and he still looks the same. He's still agile. Y'all throw the real numbers out there. If a studio is listening, give them people their flowers now and pay them what they want, because you made a lot of money off of them. So you already know. If you say they're going to be, and we know it's going to be the urban market or whatever they call it in the industry, we will pack that theater out.
We will. And that's the thing as a director. It's just like it. I understand it, but it pains me because a lot of the people I grew up with are getting older and they're retiring, and they're slowing down the films they make. And it's like, as a director, it's like I would love to work with some of these people, and they're just retiring. They're at the age where they're like, I'm done. Like Bruce Willis would have loved to work with Bruce Willis, but he retired. Nicolas Cage just put out a statement saying he might have 4 or 5 movies left. And I'm like, oh man, I want to work with Denzel. I would love to work with Will and Mel Gibson. Like, as a director, it kind of is like coming up now. It kind of like you have to the legacy actors that you loved and you grew up with, you would love to work with, but you kind of start working with the new talent, you know. like Michael B. Jordan, John Boyega,
Hmm.
even Denzel's son,
I
what's his
forgot his
name?
name. Don't be offended.
John David Washington. John
Hmm.
David Washington, he's phenomenal too. But
I love John Boyega though. He's amazing.
yeah,
That is a new character actor that is being slept on. Anything they put him in, from like Detroit to all these different films. Same thing
yeah,
for Michael B. Jordan. I feel like the variety, those are going to be seasoned, legendary actors. I'm not going to
yeah.
lie. Prior to that, I didn't see much. I didn't see who was going to be the next, like you said, Nicolas Cage or, Denzel Washington and all of that, like Tom Cruises and all of that. I'm like, where are
Yes.
they at? Like where's the new wave? Where's the second? And there's probably a lot of them out there that we're not naming as well, but
Mm.
it's something about them that is like mega stardom, you know?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
if Will Smith walks down the street, everybody, it's like they're gonna swarm. There's something about those mega celebrities and stuff, but they're also really great talent and actors and everybody like The Rock.
Oh,
Everybody says
yes.
they love working with these people because they're so seasoned, and there's not enough seasoned actors that take their craft
Yes.
serious enough sometimes. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Samuel Jackson's another one I would love to work with.
Oh
I
my
worked
goodness.
with
Yes.
I worked with him briefly on Matone. What was it? The Diary of Matone Gray. Matone Gray.
Hmm.
It
I
was an
forgot the name, but I
Apple.
know what you're talking about. Hmm.
Yeah, I worked with him briefly on that
Hmm.
because I was also a grip on that. But it was like I would love as a director. I would love to get Will Smith and Denzel Washington in the same film. I don't think that's ever been done before, and I know it's a lot of money because Will's price and Denzel's price are probably very up there. But
Yeah, you're gonna have to give.
that would be a dream collab. Will Smith and Denzel in the same movie. Come on,
Oh
why
my
has no one
goodness.
done that?
Oof. And not only that, what would the film be about? It's like
That
how do you utilize these mega, I mean, Will has just done some amazing stuff. The variety of game changing, you're talking about world building, with the Men in Black and like Independence Day. These are cult
yes,
classics that will never go away, that reformed even that verbiage, those words together, right? Men
mm-hmm.
in Black. You look at it as like something completely different. You're like Will Smith. Independence Day,
Yeah,
you're like
MIB,
Will Smith. Yeah, you're
yeah,
like Will Smith. And the same thing for Denzel. Oh my goodness, don't even get me started. That man is.
Malcolm X, John Q,
Oh my God.
the Manchurian Candidate, like
Equalizer. Hello, we're not even talking about the Equalizer.
Training Day.
Training Day, like all of those words, just the words alone, you
Mm-hmm.
associate with these actors. Independence Day comes around every year, but when you say it,
Yeah,
you're like Will Smith.
yeah,
I Robot.
and that's when you were saying like what would the movie be about. I'm like, who would play the villain? One,
Ooh.
Denzel. I don't know. He's played a bad guy, but he hasn't played a villain. Will never played a villain, so that
That.
dynamic would be very crazy.
Yeah, because
Like who would
Denzel,
be
remember
who would be the antagonist?
Book of Eli. Remember that? That was good. So I would
Yes,
love to
that was
see
really.
Will Smith. Will Smith as a villain and Denzel Washington as the hero would be amazing.
It'd be
Because
so wild because
oh, we might have to write that
how
one.
would Will tap into that? How would he
Mhm.
tap into that? You know,
He would
he's a
tap
great
in.
actor.
He's beyond. I mean, I would tell him to tap into his Muhammad Ali role of fighting. You know, I would tell him to
Mm-hmm.
tap into that strength and that anger of, oh my God, even when he cries, it's just like,
Oh yeah, you can get like Pursuit of Happiness when he was just watering. You're like,
oh,
oh yeah.
guys, we're going off on a tangent, I know, but you have two writers sitting together and discussing some of the better films, you know what I mean? And just like some of the greats that are out there. Now, an exciting message from our sponsors. When I decided to launch this podcast, I had the tools to find talent and market the show, but needed a skilled editor to bring it all to life. That's when I turned to Jacob Daly at redhawk.uk. His collaborative approach and swift revisions transformed my vision into reality. redhawk.uk, your one-stop solution for creative content services. Reach out to them. Now, a word from another of our supporting sponsors, that is Realm IQ, a new AI consultancy started by film marketing veteran Kurt Doty, who has built an international team of AI mentors to help AI change management for your business. Go to www.curtdoty.co/Realm IQ. Smart people for smart adoption, creating smart worlds. Realm IQ. Book your AI workshop today. Adopt or perish. Hi there, and welcome back to Conversations with Filmmakers podcast. Dominic, I'm really excited, and I'm thanking you so much for joining us. I have a few more questions for you before you go running off.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Guys, you are listening to the Vonti Talks with Filmmakers podcast. We're here with Dominic Goodie, and we're breaking down everything that he is saying over here. But would you say being in the film industry, in your opinion, is it profitable at the level that you're at right now?
At the point that I'm at right now, as an independent filmmaker or as a grip working in the industry, in the union working industry, I would say very profitable, because obviously you're working for a paycheck. In the independent space, it's a slow build. It's a slow start, because you're going to go the festival route. You're going to go, depending on how your long form. Are you doing feature films? You're doing short films. Obviously, if you're doing short films, you're going to want to build to that feature film category, because you want to showcase that you can do long form content. You want to show people you can do that hour and a half, hour and 20, hour and 40 minutes. And once you get to that point, then you can start looking at distribution. And even with distribution, the deals 80, 20, 46, things like that, where it's like, okay, I can start seeing a return on my investment. Now, how you go about marketing, how you go about spreading the word of mouth, spreading the word of your film, or spreading it around, is how much you will take back. So, like our film right now is on Tubi, and we're waiting right now to see the third quarter check, because we're at the fourth, so we're waiting for the check to come in. And that'll let us know how well it was doing for those first 3 months we had it on. And it may not be what you put into it. Like I said, I put 10,000 into this. I might not get that back, but it's the journey, it's the love, it's the craft. Because you do what you love, and the money will eventually follow, because you're gonna go bigger, you're gonna go better, you're gonna get more talent, you're gonna get more crew. It's just a slow build. But I would say to anybody who's starting out, don't get discouraged if you make something and it's not great, because even my stuff, if you go on YouTube and put in Pure Luxury Films on YouTube, my first projects are still up. I did not take them down. As bad as they are, I did not take them down, because I'm like, you know what? I want people to see the journey, the process of where I came from. If you like, oh, those first few projects were terrible. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But for what I am now, so I was like, don't just.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No. I said, don't get discouraged.
Go. We're horrible here. We're just talking over each other. I'm so sorry. Go.
Don't get discouraged, and just don't think about the money. Because if you go into it thinking about the money, it's not gonna come, because you're gonna be worried about how much should I make, how much should I have to spend, how much should I do this, how much. If your money tends to hold a lot of people back, and if you have friends, if you have people that are willing to be with you to make a project, just make the project. Don't worry about how much money you're gonna make on it. Just put it out there and see if you can get a fan base. That's what it is. Grow a fan base. because a fan base will support you.
Yeah.
Family and friends will support you. So I would say it's not profitable in the beginning, but it will become profitable if you stick to it and you work hard.
And we went over that earlier about content that you made long ago, similar to your screenplay, right? I'm sure you've become a much better writer. So it's more about studying your craft for those that are listening in and not being ashamed of it as well. I would tell you, even though you don't see it as the best thing ever, it's not crap. You know,
Right.
it's not crap because you took the time, you invested the money, you came up with the creative and everything. There's people that's been on that said they got into this industry from just looking at a book on a coffee table, and that
Yeah.
helped inspire them. And they used to do like VHS like kind of tapes and like similar to what was it, Steven Spielberg when he did his first project, right? And then it's like they're holding little toys that's like animated on the screen. It doesn't really matter. It's just more about being creative and sticking to it. You know, I will say a question that I had for you was like, when was that moment, that pivotal moment that you knew you had made it in the industry from being aspiring to a professional? Because you've worked on
I
professional sets. You still don't?
still don't feel like I've made it. I told my grandmother who supports me a lot.
Mhm.
My bucket list for accomplishments in the industry is as a personal for a director, not work wise, because I'm still working on someone else's set. I'm still doing work
Mhm.
for somebody else's dream, which is fine. I don't mind helping
Mhm.
someone else's dream come true, whatever. But for me, I want to see my film in theaters,
Me too.
like in theaters. I want to be able to see, even if it's a limited release, even
Mhm.
if it's a limited release and it's in a few theaters around the country.
Yes.
If that happens to me, that would be like I made it. That would
Yeah.
feel to me like I made it, because it's not easy. It's
Mhm.
very much not easy to even get into a theater space, because you gotta remember that's a slot. That's a time slot for another film that they could be earning money on, that they could be
Mhm.
doing this, so and so on. So it's like, to even be in that slot is a huge accomplishment. And to anybody who's done it, I applaud them, because making films is not easy. And that's
Mhm.
why I tell people all the time. I don't clown. Like, I may critique, but I don't clown, or I don't make fun of, or I don't poop on a movie or crap on a movie, because at the end of the day, the filmmaker got it done. And that
Mhm.
is the biggest takeaway. They got it done. Even if it's
Yep.
bad, it was still finished. And half
Mhm.
the time, people don't finish projects they start. And for somebody
Yep.
to finish something, you got to applaud them. You got to.
Absolutely. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and like anytime I launch a business, they're just like, you did it. You didn't talk it. You are a doer. Talkers
Yes.
versus doers. So you should definitely be proud of any content that you put out there. But just to pivot real quick, and I got two more questions for you before we wrap this
Okay.
up. Guys, you're listening to Vonti Talks with Filmmakers. Dominic Goodie is here, cinematographer, writer, director, producer, editor, grip worker, just done it all in a short amount of time. So, by the way, Dominic, let us know the name of your company and how they can reach out to you with your website or any kind of details as well.
My website, or my company name, is Pure Luxury Films. Currently is Instagram Pure Luxury Films, or Instagram Dominic Goodie.
Mhm.
If you just search my name, Dominic Goodie, most of my things will pop up on Google. I'm really not starting a website yet, because I don't know if I want to be a production company to do other people's productions, or I
Mhm.
just want to focus on directing my projects and getting them out. So I haven't
Mhm.
really gone into which direction I want to do yet.
Mhm.
But
That's fine.
I have been hired on as a freelance director and stuff like that from Instagram and things like that.
Guys, I say he just needs to list himself as a company, or even list up your bio. Just have that landing page that shows, like, aside from IMDb, on how they could reach out to you. Somebody might Google you and just be like, I want you to work on this, that, and the third. You know all the different roles and positions. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm always mentoring or inspiring or motivating people to just go out there. We Dominic, and you're really good at actually receiving the information. So I really appreciate that from you. And he's on the show, by the way, because his beautiful wife reached out and was just like, I got somebody for
Yes,
the show. So she's his publicist, pretty much, which I really think
yeah.
is great. I'm happy that she got you on the radar as well.
She's been a very large supporter of what I do, because this industry, like I said, is not very lucrative in the beginning. So
Mhm,
a lot of people would tell you, "We'll do something else," or you're
mhm.
not really making money out of this right now. But it's like she's been, very supportive, and I love her for that. And she's, giving me a critiques and going over my scripts and things like that, and helps me with business situations and decidings and decisions, things like that. So it's like I really appreciate her.
I love that. And it's great to have that support system for sure, especially if they're reading your stuff. I think that
Yes.
the hardest thing for a screenwriter is getting people to give them feedback on their content. And I understand it because you're asking somebody to essentially read a novel, right?
Yes.
But
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, but just read the first few pages, you guys. Just the first 10, 15. If it doesn't pique your interest, then that's also fine. But if a writer is actually reaching out for your feedback, they really respect your opinion and
Yes.
understand that because it's our baby, pretty much. Every
And
project
proofreading.
we work on, right?
Yeah, and proofreading too. Because sometimes writers, we're writing so much, we might, oh, that word is off. That word is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you've seen it 1,000 times. We
Yeah.
might say version 2, 3, or 4, but honestly, we've read over it probably 50 times and still didn't see the word there was spelled wrong.
Exactly. Oh my God. Apostrophe.
Damn it, I was supposed to put there. Oh no. So with that though, when you are very busy, when you're coming off of a project, right? And this is the second to last question. How do you mentally and physically take care of yourself in such a demanding industry? Because I think that is
You are
very
you talking
important.
about, I'm sorry, are you talking about my industry work, my independent work?
It's all together. You go back and forth between both. So what I'm saying is when you're coming down from any project that you're working on. Because I feel like the reason why I always ask this question is like we have to give that reality check of how demanding this industry is and how are you working to make sure you're okay. So mentally and physically, what are some things you do to decompress?
Well, I would talk from both sides, so I can get a pretty much a difference on how I do things.
Mm-hmm,
When I'm coming off say an industry, Hollywood industry project,
mm-hmm,
we're running 4, almost 5 months, maybe 14 to almost 18-hour days. I will come home. My wife's probably usually asleep by the time I get home. Shower, watch some TV or some YouTube,
mm-hmm,
relax, catch up on some industry news, and go to
mm-hmm,
sleep. But my weekends, I'll probably try to go for some walks in the evening or the day or the morning time. Nice hot showers. Watch some YouTube. Play a video game. Kind of just take my mind away from anything film related.
mm-hmm,
Or sometimes I get inspired, and that's the thing. Sometimes to unwind, I'll write, and that's
mm-hmm.
the thing. It's like I feel relaxed sometimes when I'm just writing because I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm thinking, but I'm not like. There's no deadline. There's no,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it has to be done. No, I'm just writing. I'm just letting the words spew out onto the page,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll look back and I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is great. And I'll sit then I'll just get up and I'll go sit on the couch and I'll watch the TV because it's like I'm not putting myself on a deadline to do this script. I'm just
Yeah.
writing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, oh, I have to. So it's like it's not no pressure. And then when I'm doing my projects, I try not to do those long days. I try because a lot of people I'm having aren't getting paid. They are volunteers. So if I'm doing a 6-hour day, that's good. I'll come home. I'll start editing, because I love to edit. So I'll throw the footage onto the computer. I'll just take a second. I'll look at it, maybe throw some color grades and change some stuff up and things like that. But I like to sit back and just relax and pretty much separate my mind from filmmaking at times, or inspire myself more by writing or looking at other films. But relaxation, or going for a walk. Sometimes some fresh air is really nice.
That is an excellent answer, though, and I'm really appreciative of you putting it out there because, again, there's listeners out there that might not be, that don't know how to decompress. So that's really important. And I like what you said is just like unplug and don't think about what you just did. Just relax and do something distractive and things that you love. So, all right. So we're up to the final question, and it is like Wheel of Fortune. No, I'm just joking. How how would you, if you could turn back the hands of time, would you do this all over again?
I say that constantly to myself, because my journey was, I would say, a little longer, at least in my mind, to what I would have liked if I knew where I was going to be, because I didn't know I was going to be in this industry. Because I joined the military in 2008, and I got out 2016. When I was still in film school, my last few years of of the military, I started going to the college, the last year I started going to college, and I feel like I was kind of older than I should been starting this industry, even though you could be at any age to do this. But if I was 20 years old and I had jumped into the film industry, and I'm 35 now, I don't know where I would be. I don't know how far I would have gone in that time frame. But seeing that I am 35 now and I've already gone so far within these 5 or 3 or 4 years, I could just only imagine. I can only just imagine being 20 years old and doing this. So it's very difficult because it's like the military has obviously helped me out so much in my life. It paid for my school, it paid for so much things, but I don't know. I think I would make changes, but I think I'd still go the same route because of the friends I've made around the world, the school I went to, the learning experiences I've had, my wife that I've met. It's like the path that I'm on now was set forth by the things that I've done. So I don't know if deviating from that originally would have changed anything for the better. You can always wonder what would have been, but you got to be appreciative of what is.
Absolutely. Guys, I am excited to say that is a wrap on another episode. You have just listened to Vonti Talks with Filmmakers. We have Dominic Goodie here, and like he mentioned, reach out to him on Instagram. You can just Google his name and everything will really pop up. I'm so thankful that you were here to give us your story and your background and everything, and really inspiring those that are listening.
Well, thank you for having me. And once again, reach out to me if you guys want to have any questions or you want to hire me or do anything or talk films. My film Witness on Tubi right now. Please go and check it out. It's a crime thriller drama with a little bit of a twist in there. So hope you guys like it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for putting a spotlight on your stuff. And again, Lethal Weapon 5, if you need me and Dominic to write the script, reach out. We're ready. We are ready. Yes. Thank you so much.
Or Bad Boys 5 or Rush Hour 5, whatever.
Any of those. If you need us to write the Will Smith and Denzel Washington film with a reverse roles, we're going to kill it. We're going to kill it. All right. Thank you, Dominic. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. You've just tuned into an episode of Conversations with Filmmakers podcast. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us and sharing their knowledge. This has been a production of Vonti Pictures, hosted by me, Vonti McCrae, a screenwriter and producer. We'd also like to thank Bad Rabbit Pictures for the animated content and creator of upcoming podcast Age of Prophecy, along with our sponsor, redhawk.uk, with all episodes being edited by Jacob Daly, director, producer, and a man of many talents. Come back next week as this saga continues for the Conversations with Filmmakers podcast.